stone cold. Can I get you any more? Something stronger?
No, nothing, thank you.
Oh, good night, little man.
Don't stay out too long.
We'll be with you in a moment, darling.
Not too long. Promise.
Promise. Now, where was I?
Morphine. They planned to turn Lobengula into an addict.
Yes.
Do you have any proof of what you've been telling me?
Why don't you believe me?
Of course. But there must be evidence, written evidence. You are, after all, his private secretary. There must be something from those days.
Yes, I can see that you're not familiar with Mr. Rhodes's methods. See, he maps his life and interests out in squares. And the man who's concerned with square number 6 must know nothing of square number 7.
But you knew what was happening in the other square, in the Jamison Square.
Izinsuku zamaNdebele ziphelile dokotela.
Ndaba zitha. Njalo siyohlala ndawonye ngokuthula.
Akwalibona enwabo licathamela impukane. Nanokuthi liguqula kanjani umbala walo. Uma lisetshanini noma ematsheni kumbe emhlabathini. Wenzela ukuthi impukane ingayiboni ingozi. Luza kancane. Phinde lubuye luhlehle. Bese libuya futhi luze kancane. Ize impukane bese engozini. Othi lapho selisondela iseduze impukane. Loqhashe ulimi ibambe impukane. Dokotela inwabu leli ingela mina ngiyimpukane.
Right, next please.
Watson, sir.
Watson. Right, Watson, you've signed for your kit over there. Next please.
The Honourable Charles Farquhar.
Oh really? Eton and the Guards, eh?
Harrow, actually.
All right, your kit's over there. Honourable Charles Farquhar.
Hendrik de Wet.
Hendrik de Wet. Justice de Wet's boy?
No, that's my cousin, Pierre. Yeah, I'm HSR.
HSR. Right, your kit's over there. Next, please. Skipper! Maury, take over here, would you? You made it, you old bugger.
Jump ship at Madeira. You better make it worth my while, Frank.
Oh, yeah.
This is the other Matelot, Lieutenant Edward Tyndale Biscoe, RN. Biscuit tin to his chums. Got a surprise for you, Frank.
You old genius. How the devil did you pull it off?
Afraid you have to give all the credit to Biscuit Tin.
No problem, really. Pa's very chummy with Admiral Nicholson.
Got a 16-horsepower Rushton to drive it with.
Sifuno kutola inglela Commander Bailey. Inglela ndaba zitha. Inglela yalabo abemba migodi. Yatembisa inkosi. Amaputo ngeke asithinte.
Unika isiqinisekiso ngeke nithinte.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
You
14,
Frank Johnson?
15, 16.
Name's Jack Grimmer, Algie Elliott, Bobby Correndon. We're all pals of Mr. Rhodes. Algie's from Cape Town. I'm from De Beers, working the stables. We're joining the column.
You bloody well or not?
Mr. Rhodes has bloody orders.
Really? Well, you tell Mr. Rhodes that I have a budget which he gave me and a quota which is full. I'm not kidding or feeding another man, so you can go right back where you came from. Come on, bugger off, the lot of you.
He said you kick up a fuss. He's paying 500 quid a head. A cheque for 6,000.
The Governor-General will see you now.
Thank you, Major.
Excellency.
I'm sure you're aware of the purpose of this interview.
I might have guessed.
It is my duty to ask you to form the next government.
I see your joy knows no bounds.
I warn you, you will not find me as pliant as my predecessor.
It's rather bad form, Your Excellency. Criticizing a man so soon after you step into his shoes. Sir Hercules was a fine and tireless administrator.
No doubt, but be prepared for an entirely different relationship with this office. If I catch the faintest whiff of corruption in the administration of this colony, I shall not rest until it is stamped out.
Corruption?
If I were to ask you why there was only one candidate for the post of Prime Minister who had the support of all sides of the House and every newspaper in the colony, what would you say?
I'd say it's good to have a Prime Minister with luck.
Pioneer column, mount! Pioneer column, forward! ngisho nje ndaba ezitha. Ngisibonele ngawo amamini. Akubona bayikuthonela.
Yabona ke uma nifuna ukubulela belungu hambani ekhimbeni nibona ukuthi bazonenzani. Dosoni wena ngifuna ukukhuluma nendlovukazi yabelungu uyibuza ukuthi ukhona umlungu okwafela la izweni lami na.
Dokotela, waphimisela muva amabutho akho.
Inkosi inikile mvume yokuhamba le ndlela.
Indlela eyabamba emgodini. Hayi amabutho.
What's all that about?
Uphethe umlayezo la. Ophuma enkosini. Ithi angibuza ukuthi ukhona yini umlungu ofela ezweni layo. Njengoba sokugcwala namabutho emingceleni. Noma mhlambi kukhona yini okunilahlekele. Ithi ke okuyonivelela. Yona ngeke iphenduke.
What's the old savage got to say for himself?
Salute.
If we cross the river now, gives us precisely 14 and a half hours. They'll attack at first light.
Well, here we go.
Column! Forward!
Let's make witchcraft. Stop, Christ, there they are. There they are. Look at them go, Biscuitin. They're going. Look, they're running away. Look at them go! Look at them go!
Off, you bloody savages!
Go on, run, you buggers! They're up on the ridge. They're up on the ridge. You see them? Go on, run, you buggers! Run, you bloody savages! There's another bloke right there. There he is. There he is. Go on, bugger off! You see him in the grass? Go on, run, you buggers! You see him, blokes? Look at him go!
If they're going to attack, it'll be now.
Salute. Send out the scouts.
moving forward.
Wonderful. Wonderful news. Thank you. Harry, they've reached Mount Hamden. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Probably the richest goldfields in the world, with the full acquiescence of the natives and without a single shot being fired.
It had all been so easy. A whole vast country had simply dropped into his lap. And if it could happen once, well then, why not again? And again. No sooner was the flag hoisted over Mashonaland than Rhodes' agents were fanning out across Africa.
3 cheers for Mr. Rhodes! Hip hip!
Jamison, Harris, Johnson, Heaney, and the rest of them. Signing up chiefs, running guns as far as the Congo and the African lakes. And if the blacks were so easy to deal with, well, why not the whites? Belgians, Germans, Portuguese, why not? After all, Rhodes' lads were invincible. They'd proved it, hadn't they?
Prime Minister, no one has given you license to rampage across Africa.
I have the rights, the legal rights, freely granted by the native peoples.
First and foremost, you will respect the laws of your country.
This is my country.
And you will honor Britain's treaties and international obligations.
Horse trading. Got a bunch of Portuguese half-breeds. I won't be party to it.
Let me make myself absolutely clear. You will not flaunt international law. You will not continue to endanger life. And I strongly recommend that you put your own house in order before you start grabbing other people's property.
Now, what exactly do you mean by that?
Mashonaland. From everything I've heard, Dr. Jameson's administration is a shambles.
Clearly your informants are weak and envious men.
The terms of your charter are quite clear, Mr. Rhodes. You are forbidden to encroach on German, French, Belgian, Portuguese, or the territories of any other European power.
You know what Britain's trouble is, don't you? She suffers from a craven fear of greatness. And it's left to a few, pitifully few, to thrust greatness upon her.
He was right?
Of course he was right.
Oh, what, to steal another 300,000 square miles of Africa in defiance of international law?
Mr. Curry, every step in the advance of the human race is an act of defiance, committed by a great individual who would not be bound by the morals and beliefs of the time.
Oh, well, without morals and beliefs, there is only barbarism.
No, there is progress. How could you fail to see that, you who were so close to him during his greatest triumphs?
Harry! Harry!
I'm sorry, Rhodes. I would have told you months ago. But she was afraid...
Not interested in the sordid side of your life, boy. But I warn you, if any of your mistresses appear on my property again...
Ethel Reader is not my mistress.
Ethel what?
We're engaged.
Get out of my house. Go on, get out.
Tony! There's confidential papers. Out! Tony!
Boss Rhodes, sir. Master Harry's leaving, Tony. Help him pack, would you? Where's George?
In the stables, sir.
I want my carriage now. No! I want it now!
Andiamo sempre George Mullicar.
I'll be back for dinner. And when I return, I won't expect to find anything of Master Harry's in the house. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Leave it. I'm awfully sorry. Bit of a shock, you see. You'll just have to forgive me. When will it be, eh? Wedding?
We haven't thought of a date. Not yet.
No, it's only right. It's only right. Man passes this way but once, and if he meets a nice girl who can be a friend and companion, one should marry her. You should. Gonna miss you, though, Harry. Gonna miss you a lot. Don't know who I'll get to replace you. Don't much care.
I'll still work for you, Rhodes. I'll still work for you.
Got to be so careful, you see, Harry. Couldn't expect a married man to keep his secrets. A man might be perfectly honest, but you sleep with a woman, and you talk in your sleep. It wouldn't do that. I thought we'd be living together till the day I died. And we got on splendidly, didn't we, Harry? Saw the world. It was not like clerking, was it? You never wanted for anything, nor would you, ever. It'd be all yours one day, Harry. Everything I possess. You know what I've been planning, don't you? Could go and see our country. Take a trip up north, do the round trip. In through Portuguese territory, out through Matabeleland. You could peg out a farm. As many gold claims as you want. We'd be there and back in 2 months. What do you say?
I don't think it would be fair on Ethel Reader.
You must have broken his heart.
It was the turning point of his life.
Darling.
What did you say?
Oh, it's only some notion that Ethel has.
It's important. Please. Please.
Well, after Harry left him, Mr. Rhodes just let go.
Oh, darling, this is such nonsense.
Mr. Curry, please. What do you mean?
Whatever his faults, Mom, he was a visionary and a leader, always 5 jumps ahead of the other man. Wasn't that his proudest boast? But after Harry left, the fire went out.
But his most brilliant campaigns were still ahead of him.
But they weren't his campaigns or his strategies. Other people, dangerous people, were making decisions for him. It was the start of his tragedy.
Oh, for God's sake, this is so sentimental and silly!
Crossroads!
the baggage, Boss Rhodes!
I got the baggage!
I want to see my country.
Look at that. The Shonland. My country.
Rhodes? What is it? Third Peak. Got it?
Uh-huh.
That's Mount Hampden now. Come down to the left, follow the horizon. Salisbury.
My capital.
Well, the place is a bloody cesspit.
We're broke. We were peddling dreams. All that money was raised from the sale of new licenses. Well, now the dream is over. And it's happened so quickly, it's frightening. People are starving, Rhodes.
How can people be starving when there's land for the taking?
And no gold! Boa was up here with some of the Johannesburg bunch. They all say the same. Swaziland, Johannesburg, Tati, gold, gold, gold. If the line continues, it goes through Matabele land. And Lobengula is sitting on it. Rhodes, we're in the wrong place.
I can't take on Lobengula. Not yet.
Rhodes, I think you should hear this from me before you find out somewhere else. I've sold all my shares in the company. The moment we move on Matabele land, I'll buy back as fast as I can.
What is the matter with you? Has power gone to your head? You used to be the cautious one. God damn it, man. You know the score. I'm hobbled. The British government's got cold feet. I've got a governor in the Cape who's dead against me. I can't attack Lobengula without a reason. Not without an excuse.
The administration here is costing 20,000 a month. If we wait much longer, we'll bleed to death.
Find me a cause, Jim. And I'll back you all the way to Kwabulawayo.
And in the meantime?
I'll find the money.
He comes to me. Remember?
Barney.
Morning, Prime Minister. Mr. Byatt. Think you know her? Usual tipple, Prime Minister?
Splendid, splendid. Looking good?
Can't complain. There's mud in your eye, Prime Minister. Right, time's precious. How much you after?
Barney.
Oh, come on. You're all sweetness and light. Only means one thing. Let's get down to business, shall we?
All right. I want De Beers to advance me 200,000. Alfred's got the other life governor's consent. It's down to you now, Barney.
You surprised me, Mr. Byatt. Always thought you was a businessman.
There are more important things than money.
Like loyalty and friendship. You lot make me sick. When he was out chasing his tail in the jungle, you and me's made a second fortune in gold. If you was his friend, Mr. Byatt, first thing you'd do is bring him down to earth.
Don't patronize me, Barney. I'm not after charity.
That's the last thing you deserve. Clever little scheme, wasn't it? Can't let Barney get his hands on the Queen of Sheba's riches. So we form a new company. The Chartered Company, your lordship, and cut him out. Not just Barney. What about little Alfred and all the other blooming De Beers directors? Cut him out. Cut them all out. How's that for loyalty, eh? Well, now your chickens have come home to roost. Chartered shares. What are they down there? Sixpence?
Chartered Company will pull through.
Never. There ain't no King Solomon's mines. Not in Mashona land, not nowhere.
Mr. Rhodes has seen the country for himself.
Yes. A high, fertile plateau. Wonderful agricultural land. Once we've dealt with the Matabele, I promise you, we'll lay the foundation of a great mining industry.
Save me the spiel. I've already made up my mind.
You're going to block me. Don't play games, Barney.
I'd never do that. Where do I sign? Before I do, I want to make one thing plain. I'm not doing this out of faith in your country. It's because I know what you and your crowd can do. And I don't want it said in every newspaper from here to John O'Groats how some little yid called Barney Bonato put a kibosh on England's glories in Africa.
You'll never regret this, Barney. And I'm very grateful.
There's no need for that.
Oh, yes, there is. You've given me the means to pull through.
Or you might say, I've given you enough rope to hang yourself. Your health, Prime Minister.
These are mine. These are mine. What in heaven's name are they doing here? How dare you! How dare you tamper with my possessions? Get me the manager.
I'm afraid he's engaged at this moment, Your Highness. He asked me to convey his apologies.
This is outrageous!
Tell you that we have discovered to our great embarrassment that your suite, indeed every suite in this hotel, is now fully booked.
How dare you! How dare you! I shall raise such an outcry. Every newspaper in the colony in London, this establishment will be ruined.
I doubt it.
Your account has been settled, and Mr. Rhodes would like you to have this. Your passage has been booked on the Scott. Sails Thursday, first class. I'd pick up those pieces if I were you. Life is not going to be much fun here now. Every hotel, every social encounter, like this.
Every encounter, Mr. Byatt. Fortunately, There are still some people left in the colony who do not take their orders from Mr. Rhodes.
Merriman, Curry.
Would you kindly take a message to Mr. Rhodes for me? Tell him the hounds are on the scent. But if he accepts my offer of partnership, I'd be happy to call them off.
Mr. Merriman! Mr. Merriman!
Mr. Merriman, gentlemen, there are places further down the carriage. Mr. Merriman and I must have these seats to ourselves.
Your Highness, I must
It's
object.
important, believe me. It's important.
Gentlemen?
Thank you.
Hell hath no fury.
No, Mr. Merriman. I decided to break off our engagement, not Mr. Rhodes. And my reasons were neither emotional, nor hasty, nor in the remotest sense vindictive. Can you say the same?
I beg your pardon.
Great heavens, Mr. Merriman, you and he were like that. And you remained like that through all the years when he was committing the crimes that you now hold against you.
Crimes?
Yes, Mr. Merriman. Bribery, extortion, corruption. You were very clear about that at our first meeting. And in spite of all this, you stayed with him. You became a senior minister in his government. You were practically running the country on his behalf. And then you suddenly resigned over a catering contract. What was it really, Mr. Merriman? Envy? Well, what possibly could have been worse than all the bribery, corruption, and extortion that had gone before?
In a word, Matabele land.
Bastards have stolen the wire. If he doesn't deliver the men who stole the wire, I'll punish all his people. Go on, tell him. Tell him, Hamilton.
ukasa wana mbava dzapa waya acharanga vanhu vako boze
handizizivi kuti idzi mbavha dzava ndivi wana naani handizizivi.
He says he does not know who were the men who did this thing.
I want the thieves or 100 head of cattle. And if they're not delivered to the fort by sundown tomorrow, I'm going to blow this kraal sky high. Just make it clear to him. Go on.
Oh, boss.
Make it clear to him, Hamilton.
Oh, he has no cattle.
He has no cattle. Don't be a cheeky bastard, Hamilton. What the hell are those, eh? What are those? Scotch mist, eh?
Oh, well, boss, Lobengula says all the cattle in this country are his. These people live too near the Matabele to say no.
Well, that's their problem, Hamilton. Now you tell him. Make it clear. The thieves, or the cattle, or my guns.
And this is you.
Tell him.
And this is you.
Just tell him, Hamilton.
And this is you. And this is you.
Colonel! You blokes had a bloody education.
Colonel!
What? Just check.
There. Yeah, I see. Corendon. Sir. Telegraph Dr. Jamison. You won't need a pen, it's simple enough. Message reads, please come at once. Stop. I think we have a cause. Stop. Johnson. Go on.
ukujezisa izinxibe ezabe inkomo zami.
Yiziphi lezo zinxibe?
Amashona.
Ungabe inkosi iyolithuma ibutho lihambe lehle umncele?
Awukho umngcele ngwazi wehlukanisa izwe lami.
Uma usuwela umfulo ithokwe. abelungu bayobe sebecabanga ukuthi uyabahlasela.
Watshenile amabutho ami ukuthi angabahlasela abelungu.
Abelungu bona bazawukwazi kanjani lokho Nkosi?
Amaqhawe ami watshenile ukuthi adlulisele umlayezo le uJohnson hamba umkhombisa ukuthi wenzeni. Acacela amazwi ami lapha.
Yebo ndaba ezitha.
Yabona ke wena yino lezibovu ufuna ukuthi uma ufika le phalaphaya uma ufika khona uthumela ucingo le kudokotela umtshela ukuthi amabutho ami ayohlasela izinxibi ngeke abathinta abelungu. Uyangizwa?
Yebo ndaba ezitha.
Bayade! Into fanyathela waduma izulu, umdli wabafazi, umdli wamadoda, bayade!
That's where all the trouble started. Kamala's Kraal. Main Matabele encampments down there. How many men would it take, do you think, to smash the Matabele?
That lot?
No, the Matabele nation.
You know how many Boers it took to smash the Zulu? 600. Right, Commandant?
Yeah. And Ngana had a bloody sight more men behind him than Lobengula.
What was the secret?
Speed. When a Boer fights the Kaffirs, he stays in the saddle, keeping just outside the range of their spears. Kaffir advances, Boer retreats. But he keeps firing from the saddle. And because he's got speed, there's no way the Kaffir can hit back.
You're forgetting one thing, Ralph. Lobengula's got firepower, thanks to the Chartered Company.
The old fool refuses to use it. See for yourself. There's not a single rifle out there. Corendon.
Sir.
Fetch a telegraph operator, would you?
I've decoded it.
Well?
We have an excuse for a row over murdered women and children. Do not let the opportunity slip. The getting of Matabele land open would give us a tremendous lift in shares and everything else. Await your instructions, Jamison.
Don't you get me a Bible, would you?
They're definitely moving off. Taking their time about it, aren't they?
Dr. Jamison. Telegram from Mr. Rhodes. I think this is the verse, sir.
What the devil are you talking about?
Well, the message says, read Luke chapter 14, verse 31.
At all? Well? What king going to make war against another king sitteth not down first and consulteth whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000? Well, Johnson, has this king consulted?
ngikholelwe ukuthi izinqibi ezebe izinkomo zami sengithola amanzi ukuthi abelungu.
Abezitha, izinkomo zathathwa zaba inhlawulo.
Izinkomo lezo ezami. Lezinqibi ezinayo ezami. Namabutho alele. Awami. Bengicabanga ukuthi nizokhumba igolide. Kanti nizothumba abantu bami nelizwe lami.
Well?
I don't understand these figures.
All there, all itemized.
Yeah. Transport, supplies, weapons, ammunition, but nothing for the men. Don't you propose to pay them?
Yes. Every recruit will sign one of these. Standard military conditions on their part, and ours a guarantee to pay them in land, gold, and loot.
Loot?
Lobengula's cattle. Company takes half, and volunteers divide the rest between them. Well? 50,000 quid, bite, that's all I'm asking.
For the first time in my life, Rhodes, no.
Why?
Because I foresee a catastrophe.
Alfred, you've never doubted me before.
You? No, never. But you have always been in complete control. That was your strength. Now, you're so stretched. Johannesburg, Kimberley, Parliament, Mashonaland. You are letting others take over, men like Jamison. And it frightens me.
He's a brilliant and tireless administrator.
He is a gambler. You are not. Rhodes, for as long as I've known you, you've always planned with such patience and care. Always waited for the perfect moment. This is not the moment to take on the most powerful warrior nation in Africa. The British government is getting cold feet. Locke is dead against you. And you are so stretched, you have to come to me for 50,000 pounds.
Don't need it. I'll raise my own funds.
How?
I'll sell every charter share I possess.
Oh, Rhodes.
I'm not going to beg, bite, and that's final. I'll do it on my own.
Then tear these up, for God's sake, and pay your men with cash. Have you thought what this means? The moment one volunteer signs this, there's no turning back. You've got to take Matabele land. What happens if Lobengula won't play ball? What if he absolutely refuses to fight? Are you going to take his country, his cattle, regardless? Never mind the British. You'll have the whole world against you.
Don't you worry, Bud. He'll play ball.
How can you be sure?
Because I'll push him, and push him until he does.